At the 1888 Paris Salon, this enormous 6-meter wide painting could be found hung on a wall. A critic called it a terrible neighbor for other paintings, as it grabbed so much attention not only for its size, but also for its appealing subject matter. The subject matter isn't only appealing because it shows a clown. As you know, I love them, and as I know you do too. This painting depicts a whole group of saltimbanques, mostly circus or street performers, performing for us, the audience. You have clowns, a small person, an orchestra, some exotic birds, a monkey, and some kids. And what captured the audience's attention is that this isn't just a scene of a performance, but also an illustration of the different stages of a human's life, starting from childhood to their prime, all the way to old age. The artist didn't only portray a captivating group portrait of performers, but also displayed them in such a way as to depict the human condition. Before we continue, I want to thank all the patrons who decided to support the channel in the last video. It got shadow banned, it got age restricted, which means that it got no views at all. I was so proud of that video. I'll talk about more about it at the end of this video in like the post credits scenes, I guess. I don't know if that's what we call them. I also wanted to just briefly mention that I made a video with the CBC on an artist, a Canadian artist, who is fascinating. So go check that out. I'll put the link in the description, or maybe even in the comments. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm very proud of that video, so go check it out. All right, so back to Les Saltimbanques and the artist who painted it, Fernand Pelez. He was born in Paris from a Spanish father who taught him the arts. He was then classically trained and started his career making history paintings, exhibiting his first paintings at the Paris Salon of 1866. However, in 1880, he started making more socially conscious paintings depicting poverty and misery. We'll get back to that later. So his 1888 Saltimbanque places itself in that period of his career where he painted the needy and the outcasts. The full title of the painting is actually Grimaces et Misère, les Saltimbanques, or Grimaces and Misery, the Performers. And it's through the lens of misery that I want to look at a particular subject amidst the Saltimbanque. I want to look at the youngest of the group, this child crying. The reason I discovered the work of Fernand Pelez was through this painting, which I first saw at the Musée des Beaux-Arts de Montréal. It's a simple portrait of a child smoking. As you may understand, it's a very confronting, perhaps even funny painting when taken out of context. Usually, paintings of children, especially in the second part of the 19th century, idealized childhood. Think of Renoir, for example. His children are beautiful. They embody innocence, moral purity, and promote more largely family life. Children are often portrayed with their mothers, calm, happy, and beautiful. This idealized depiction of family life, and more particularly children, is made for the bourgeoisie, by the bourgeoisie, and about the bourgeoisie. Which brings us to Fernand Pelez, who also shows a mother with her children, but he shows them homeless. The mother, feeding her 5th child, is shown surrounded by 4 other exhausted kids, all sleeping around her in rags. In A Martyr or The Violet Merchant, perhaps my favorite painting by Pelez depicting working-class children, you see a child sleeping, or perhaps even dead, with the little tray he used to sell violets. His exhaustion in the middle of the street in broad daylight at such a young age is heart-wrenching. Fernand Pelez would paint other tragic scenes of poverty, especially with children, and the last one I want to look at with you is this one, La Vache Alcade. La Vache Alcade was a day of festivities with a parade organized in 1896 and 1897 by artists in Montmartre to oppose, or at least to make fun of, the Fat Ox Parade at the Paris Carnival. The fat ox, for the poor, was replaced by an enraged cow. To illustrate the Vache Alcade, which was itself a parody, Pelez shows children parodying adults. With masks, questionable face paint, oversized clothes, and bowler hats, these kids flying a misery banner are, to me at least, making fun of adults. Just look at the large grin on Pierrot's face, yet another clown. I love clowns. Payaso, un clown. Fernand Pelez is not a very famous name in art history, and it probably never will be, but I do think that one of his greatest contributions to art history was to show its blind spots. We often tend to forget that even though we were given this mythologized idea of the starving artist, a lot of art was created for the bourgeoisie and depicted the bourgeoisie. There are many examples showing the contrary, from the gleaners to the potato eaters, but as a general rule, and if you look at painting of children more particularly, there's an overrepresentation of the bourgeoisie considering just how many poor working class people there were, especially at that time in Europe. Pelez shows us the forgotten kids of history, those who were rarely shown back then and, therefore, not really shown today. Consequently, for showing forgotten kids, Pelez was himself forgotten. Pelez's kids were much more numerous than Renoir's kids, but one sold more, sold for higher prices, and sold to the right influential people. There are filters that influence the way our world is depicted, and Pelez was filtered out. And by being filtered out, he's not only making poverty and misery apparent, but he's also making these filters apparent. Hence his importance in art history. As art historian Robert Rosenblum wrote, "When future generations of art historians reconstruct these years, may they not forget Fernand Pelez." And that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing and commenting. I read all the comments, and sharing with friends. That's very important too. Don't forget to watch the CBC video that I made with the CBC. Always a privilege to cooperate and to collaborate with them. I also make videos on an anarchist FAQ. It's both available on Spotify and probably other places where you can get podcasts, and it's available on YouTube. I basically just narrate an anarchist FAQ, which is like a work that talks about anarchism and answers questions. So every episode is me narrating an answer to every question on anarchism, like a lot of questions. So those are two projects that I'd like to pitch. Let's talk about the Greensboro Massacre. So that video, I censored some parts of it thinking that it won't be age restricted. It turns out it was still age restricted. I had someone who said, the reason, like, if you were wondering why the Greensboro Massacre isn't like known or remembered, well, that's the reason why. It got censored. It got shadow banned or whatever, which is kind of sad because this was a video I really, really enjoyed. It's still up. It's just that it won't be recommended by the algorithms because it's 18 plus. It's 18 plus now. So if you want to go see it, you can go check it out on my channel. You just got to have a YouTube account to be able to access it, or else you won't be able to see it. But anyway, it's a great video. I'm very proud of it. I'm sad that it won't get the attention it deserves, but can't do much about it. And the uncensored version is available on Patreon. I didn't plan on that, but then I was like, and then we just made a video on censorship and all that. What a world we live in. But this video probably won't be impossible. It can't be censored. Right? Anyway, I'd like to thank all the new patrons who support the channel, who decided to support the channel in the last video, probably to go see the Hokusai video. If you haven't seen the Hokusai video, that's another video that just got like straight up taken off of YouTube. So it's now available on Patreon. Yeah, Roman Brandel, X-Towns, Bone Meal. I think there's a new one. I'll have to go check. Anyway, I talked to people before mentioning, like, shouting out their names just to make sure that they want me to shout out their names. But I think there's a fourth person who got added to like the top tier patrons. There's a bunch of new patrons who got added. A lot of $1 tier patrons, because if you want to support the channel, just $1 per month, you can become a patron and your name will appear at the end of each video. So yeah. I think that's it. Thank you to the patrons. Thank you for people who comment. Thank you to people who like and share and all that. Whatever. Classic YouTube talk. And I already know what the video will be for the next week, but I'll keep it a secret. Should I give you a hint? Should I give them a hint? No hints. All right, you'll just have to see. And it'll give me the liberty to change if I ever want to change this subject. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.